Ray. What do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
We've been told for years how wonderful it is to count our blessings. It's a lot more fun to count $100 bills.
And you can count on Jerry Gillis to enrich your attitude, your work, and your life in general with Money Love, the power of prosperity consciousness. This program is designed to show you how to practice what Jerry calls prosperity consciousness, a way to get and use money that will pay off for you in almost every aspect.
People will pay you money to a great extent based on what value you place on yourself. No one with a $15,000 a year attitude ever got a $50,000 a year salary.
In Money Love, you'll learn how to change counterproductive attitudes about money that you may have carried since childhood. Jerry will tell you how you can profit from his techniques of prosperity spending, prosperity investing, and the use of passive income. You'll be able to master these skills and more, no matter what your current financial status.
I'm often asked, where do you start? How much money do you have to start dealing with prosperity consciousness, to start looking at these money love concepts? It doesn't matter where you start. It's all happening inside your head. Whatever your income is, you can start creating more.
Jerry admits that his ideas can be provocative and even controversial. But he says they have worked for millions of people. They've worked for him, and they can work for you, too.
And if you're skeptical, it's only about your own abilities. Stop doing that to yourself. You can do whatever you want with your life. You can have it all. There is inside of you a millionaire struggling to get out. Open up your mind and let that millionaire out.
And now, to help you discover the millionaire within, here is Jerry Gillis.
I'd like to make an outrageous suggestion. I'd like you to imagine that you paid $5,000 for this tape set. Now, as part of this fantasy, I want you to imagine you could easily afford $5,000 and are more than willing to spend it on self-improvement, and that you really believe it's worth $5,000 to get some valuable ideas about how to change your current situation for the better. Now, all of this being true, wouldn't you really pay very close attention to a program costing $5,000, and wouldn't you make certain that you got some valuable ideas for yourself? And wouldn't you absolutely put some of these ideas into action in your life? You see, the sad truth is that for a lot of people, this would be a more valuable program if it did cost $5,000, because that would get their attention, while they otherwise might listen with their consciousness half asleep. Now, my challenge to myself is to include in this program ideas I feel are easily worth $5,000, as proven by graduates of my Money Love trainings who have used these strategies to make a lot more than that. And your challenge is to pay attention as if you had paid $5,000 for this program. If you put that kind of focused energy on this information, it will work for you. Now, I'm doing these tapes as if I were doing an individual consultation for you. I charge a lot of money for my individual consultations, and people get value out of them, because when you pay a lot of money for something, and when it's tailored to your needs, you're going to use it. And this is not about your sitting back or lying down and letting information pour into your head. I'm not going to ask you to work hard, but I am going to ask you to work easy, to make effort, to participate in your own regeneration as a person of means, a person of prosperity consciousness. Prosperity consciousness is a belief system that says, I deserve to be successful. And that belief system will affect the way you act, which will affect the way the world responds to you and actually produce prosperity. It's not just positive thinking. It's positive thinking leading to a positive feeling about yourself, leading to positive action, and then positive results. Positive thinking, positive feeling, positive action, positive results. That's what prosperity consciousness is all about. Prosperity is not a spectator sport. If it were, with our increasing exposure to great wealth via the media, we'd all be multimillionaires. No, all of the strategies and suggestions and processes I'm going to invite you to experience for yourself have to become just that, a personal experience for you. You have to make a commitment with yourself to do it. I'll make a commitment to make it as much fun as possible. One of my affirmations is, anything worth having is worth having fun getting. Now, built into this tape are some very subtle but powerful techniques aimed at moving you forward in several different areas. So before we go any further, I'm going to ask you to rate your level of success in a few areas of your life. Let me introduce you to a tool we'll use throughout the program. I call it the Personal Abundance Barometer. It's very simply to imagine a meter inside your mind, calibrated from 1 to 10, 1 being the low end of the scale, blah, pretty bad. 10, the highest of the high, the wonderful end of the spectrum. Things are terrific, the best you could hope for. Well, let's try it out on some simple things. Just let the needle inside your mind on that meter land wherever it feels right for it to land. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the most recent meal you had? Okay, now think of the person you love most in all the world, the person you care about the most other than yourself. How does thinking about that person make you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Good. Now you've got the idea, so let's rate on a scale of 1 to 10 your current level of financial satisfaction. How happy are you with your current income? On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with the work you do now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with the amount of leisure time you have? On a scale of 1 to 10, how creatively fulfilled are you? And finally, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun are you having in your life right now? Now, after hearing these Money Love tapes, you'll notice a shift in these areas. I want you to pay attention to your financial satisfaction and your actual income. You may see a difference there, and how you feel about the work you're now doing, and how happy you are with the amount of leisure time in your life, and how creatively fulfilled you feel, and how much fun you're having. Now, you may see some differences in all or some of these areas, but the most important thing is to pay attention, and you may even want to write them down to keep track. After you've listened to these tapes, the first time or the second time or even the third time, you'll have a new tool to use to go further to a new level of prosperity consciousness. Because tapes are one of the most valuable tools you can possibly use for your own growth, your own awareness, and your own prosperity. And you can use them and use them again and again to take you to new levels of perception, excitement, and energy. For example, I have a tape that I recorded back in 1973 of Leo Buscaglia. Now, Leo was not the famous man he is today in 1973. He was well known on some college campuses where he lectured, but Leo came to Miami to do a talk called "What is Essential is Invisible to the Eye." That quote from The Little Prince. And he did a magnificent job, as always. He spoke for an hour, and it was 2 hours after that talk, and people were still into high energy, dancing and hugging each other. There was an amazing level of excitement. Now, I have played that tape for classes that I've taught and workshops that I've led, and listened to it myself over 250 times in the last dozen years or so. You know, I've never listened to it once without learning something new that I could immediately put to use in my life, without hearing something that I didn't even remember hearing before, because each time I hear it, I'm a different person. I've learned something more. I've experienced something else in my life, and I have a new perspective. And these tapes are like that. We're going to create some new perspectives together. So the first time you listen to me and these ideas and these processes and these strategies, you'll get to a certain place. You'll never be the same again. We never are when we listen to anything that motivates, anything that inspires, anything that presents some new perceptions and new perspectives and new ideas. Now, your willingness to allow this to happen will dictate your results. Are you willing to have some changes happen for you? Are you ready to move to a new level of success, of prosperity, of awareness, of happiness? Are you willing to have these changes happen now, without waiting, without having to do anything else than to just pay attention? It is easy. It is simple. And you can make it so. Now, money love is a very simple concept. It's about loving yourself enough to produce the money you deserve, loving your work so that you more easily produce wealth, and becoming a more loving person so that other people will be attracted to you, your ideas, your products, your services. I'll let you in on a secret. Maybe you know this already, and maybe you need to be reminded. You get all your money from other people. Other people give you all the money you will ever receive in your life. The more you are willing to provide service, ideas, products that you believe are valuable and worthwhile, the more other people will respond to you. Let me suggest some ideas that may be provocative for you. Some money love concepts, some basic truths as I see them. Truth 1, enjoying your money will make it easier for you to accumulate wealth. Truth 2, you don't have to work hard to earn a good living. Truth 3, loafing is one of the most creative, money-producing things you can do. Truth 4, you can be as good a person rich as poor, and probably better rich. You'll have more time to be better. Truth 5, worrying about money has nothing to do with how much money you have. I've known millionaires who have worried constantly about money. Truth 6, money is something to be loved rather than feared. Truth 7, spending money is better for your prosperity consciousness than banking it. Truth 8, money is an extension of your self-esteem, how you feel about you. Truth 9, you can't be emotionally healthy without healthy money attitudes. Truth 10, you are probably, to some extent, living your parents' money script. We'll be looking further and exploring more deeply all of these truths and these ideas and these basic money love concepts. Let's just take a moment now to go by them again, and I'll make some brief comments and suggestions for ways of looking at these ideas. I know they're provocative, and I know that you may not agree with them all, at least not at this moment. Truth 1, enjoying your money will make it easier for you to accumulate wealth. Now, enjoying your money means really giving yourself personal pleasure. You see, your money comes to you directly as a result of the quality of your ideas, directly from your creative imagination, which is a tool of your subconscious mind. Now, your subconscious mind is very childlike. It likes to be rewarded. It likes things very simple. Now, in terms of being rewarded, the more pleasure you give yourself, the more your subconscious mind, like a little child, jumps up and down with glee and says, "Yes, this feels good. I'm going to provide some exciting and wonderful ideas so we can have more money and have more fun." Enjoying your money is a very simple behavior modification program that you can provide for yourself. And we'll have a whole segment talking about money fun and how to really enjoy yourself and enjoy your money. You deserve it. You deserve to have as much fun as possible. Now, one of the most revolutionary ideas contained in Money Love is the premise behind Truth 2. You don't have to work hard to earn a good living. It's obvious that hard work won't make you rich or financially secure. A lot of people work hard. They're not rich or financially secure. In fact, a very good example of this is that we have more millionaires today than ever before in history. 1 million millionaires in the United States alone, and a lot less hard work than a few years back. A lot of people end up after working 40 hours a week, barely surviving on a retirement pension or Social Security payments, with less income to spend than when they were working. So the only way to get ahead financially and be able to enjoy it is not to work hard, but to come up with quality ideas, with services, products, and ideas worth money. By having a healthy attitude toward money and using your creative mind to produce valuable ideas, you'll thrive. The objective of these tapes is to help you get to a position where you're living easily and happily in your chosen environment without money worries and with an awareness of your own unlimited financial potential. You have unlimited financial potential. Truth 3, loafing is one of the most creative money-producing things you can do. I'm lazy, and I love it. And being lazy has enabled me to develop a lot of techniques that help other people more easily perform their jobs. High performance is not hard work. High performance is smart work, and smart work comes out of ideas. And loafing is one of those ways in which you can allow your creative imagination the time to come up with the ideas that are going to make your fortune. Truth 4 is you can be as good a person rich as poor, probably better rich. The reason for this is that you can have the luxury of developing your mind and your compassion when you give yourself the time that you are going to buy with the money that you'll create. Most of the wonderful philanthropic and generous acts in this century have been performed by rich people who had the time and the money to do it. Think about this. If you're a wonderful person now, aren't there many, many wonderful things you can accomplish with a lot more money that you just can't do now? So when I say you can be as good a person rich as poor, probably better rich, I mean that you might have wonderful ideas without the money, and once you have the money, you can put those into action. Money is a vehicle for action. Truth 5, worrying about money has nothing to do with how much money you have. Now that's obvious. A lot of people think, however, that when they get the money, they can stop worrying. You need to stop the worrying now. The worrying gets in the way of the money. Truth 6, money is something to be loved rather than feared. Now, a lot of people don't realize that they are afraid of money. But in fact, if you are not now financially independent, there's a good chance that fear is involved at some level. Whether it's a fear that you'll have to change as a human being to produce a lot of money, or do work you won't enjoy, or that your friends won't like you anymore, or that in some way you'll be insulting your parents by making a lot more money than they ever made. Whatever those fears are, and you don't have to even know exactly what they are, it's important to understand that money is something to love. It's an extension of your personality. The money you make is an extension of who you are. And loving yourself is a very basic prerequisite to any kind of success in life. I love myself, I love my money. A simple statement to make to yourself. Truth 7, spending money is better for your prosperity consciousness than banking it. Using money well is the secret to prosperity consciousness. It isn't accumulating a lot of money. What good will that do you? It's using it well and learning how to use it by circulating it out in the economy. We're going to do a whole segment on prosperity spending, and you'll see that the more you get into prosperity spending, the more prosperity you'll be able to create. Truth 8, money is an extension of your self-esteem. And we'll talk a lot about self-esteem in a moment, but very simply, how you feel about yourself is projected to the outside world, and people respond to how you feel about you. and people give you money. As a result of this, one of my basic statements I make to myself is, I am a valuable income-producing property. The more you think your ideas and your services and your products are valuable, the more other people will respond to that and give you money for them. Truth 9, you can't be emotionally healthy without healthy money attitudes. I have a friend, a very talented therapist, who can't seem to stop the treadmill she's on, no matter how much money she earns. And she earns a lot. She never feels secure. No matter how high her reputation, and it's very high indeed, she has the fear her clients will stop coming or not be able to afford to come. Her whole life is governed by vivid memories of the 1930s, and she actually said to me, no one who ever lived through the Depression can ever feel completely relaxed about money. Well, I don't believe that, and I've seen it disproved hundreds of times. The Depression had nothing to do with money. It was a massive collapse of the myth. It was a powerful display of poverty consciousness in which people lost their faith in themselves and the economy. And I'll tell you something, more money has been lost remembering the Depression than was ever lost during it. But remembering those fears about money, whether you really lived through the Depression or that message was handed down to you by your parents or even grandparents, that creates a negative emotional attitude, and it gets in the way of all your other emotional experience. I had a man come to me for a consultation. He had gone to a training I had conducted about 10 years ago, and he had created over $1 million. He had $1.9 million. He knew it to the penny. And he came to me and he was worried. He was not happy. He thought once he had created $1 million, he'd be very happy. But he wasn't. And the reason he wasn't happy was a very simple one. He didn't think he had enough. He didn't think he had enough money to take 3 months off and take a trip around the world. He had always wanted to do that. He thought his business would fall apart if he had taken that time off. And he thought if he had created $10 or $20 million, he'd then have the freedom to take 3 months off. And in our consultation, of course, we finally figured out that it wasn't the amount of money, it was his belief about himself. That once he got emotionally healthy with himself, he would feel free. Whether he had $1,900,000 or $10 million or $50,000, he would be able to take off and do what he really wanted to do with his life. It isn't the amount of money. It's how you feel about money that matters. Truth 10, you're probably, to some extent, living your parents' money script. Your ideas and your habits and your patterns about money are antiquated. They have been handed down to you generation after generation intact. You are probably doing and thinking and feeling the same things about money that your parents felt and your grandparents felt. Now, this is not to blame your parents. They gave you the best information they had, but they handed their beliefs about money to you, whether they worked for them or not. Automatically, we tend to do that. Without awareness, without understanding that those beliefs were not producing the results they really wanted. And being successful, having prosperity consciousness, is simply having beliefs that work. If you are not now financially independent, so that you don't have to work for a living, so that your life is filled with leisure and pleasure and love and creative satisfaction, if that is not your current situation, then your beliefs about money and success are not ideally working for you. And when something doesn't work, it's time to consider some alternatives.